What's going on, guys? We're back with another one. I know it's been a while. It hasn't been as long as it normally has. But what's up, guys? I meant to do this a while ago, but we're back with part 2 of My Hero Academia. What if I? Let's see. Okay, first things first. I'm gonna tell you guys, out of the 3 options I gave, it was very close. I know it's not gonna look like it under the comments, because I went on my Instagram, my Snapchat, all my other little platforms, and I kind of like did polls there too. It was literally dead even basically everywhere I went. So what I'm gonna do for that, I don't know why I'm playing with that change. What I'm gonna do is, it was literally help and beat him up. It was help Deku or beat him up. Really, nobody voted for Ignore. So I was like, all right. So what I'm thinking, since it was so close, I'm gonna have it where something else will happen. So he's not going to do either one of those just because of how close it was. And I don't want to like upset, I'm gonna upset both y'all. I'd rather do that than just, So what I'm gonna end up doing is, narratively, I'm going to kind of change it and have something else happen. I've also been seeing, I've sent some of my friends like the first part of this and stuff, and they give me a little feedback. So I'm trying to do a little bit more, a little razzle dazzle maybe here and there on the screen or whatever. But we're going to basically pick right back up where we left off. Lee Jones, like I said in the previous part, he stopped a bird-like villain, saved a woman's purse, and he was literally getting ready to go to his last day of, I believe I said it was high school. I'm not sure if it might have been middle school technically, because I think UA High is like a high school, but you guys knew what I meant. So this was his last day. Really all they're doing now at school is just finishing up paperwork, and everybody's graduated basically, so they're just kind of saying goodbye to their friends since it's the end of the year, and hoping to see who all is going to try to go to UA. So we're going to pick right up where Lee Jones is watching Bakugo and those other 2 weirdos at the beginning of the show pick on Deku. Lee Jones is getting ready to make an approach until a familiar hand gets placed on his shoulder. It's his old friend, Toguro Kamakiri. I'm gonna put Toguro right here. Oh god, I pointed too far. It's gonna be here. Toguro Kamakiri. What is his quirk called? I believe his quirk is called Sharp, or something with knives, or he's like a weapon or something. We'll see. I doubt it. But yeah, like I said, his weapon, he's able to make blades from any part of his body. From the original story, he is from class 1B. He puts his hand on Lee Jones' shoulder and he's like, don't even worry about him. Come with me. Me and what's that little brown guy's name? Lee Jones turns around and says, you talking about Nirenkiki? Yeah, whatever his name is. So Lee Jones and now Toguro are seemingly, you're not entirely sure what he was going to do if he went over there with the whole Deku situation, but he himself and Toguro are now leaving towards, I don't want to say the outskirts of school, but they're kind of going towards the training ground of the school. It's not a very large one, of course, this was just a middle school, so it's more or less like the gymnasium. As they arrive, Nirenkiki is already there. He invites the 2 over, and they all 3 sit on basically like the bleachers. Nirenkiki explains to them that his hope is for all of us to be able to make it into UA and all make it to class 1A. Toguro and Lee Jones, of course, pretty excited. Of course, they're like, yeah, that's the plan. Toguro a lot more, what's the word? I guess hyped up than the other 2. Very excited. I always felt like his quirk was very strong, felt like he himself would make a great hero. So the 3 kind of just spend their time. Oh, I can't never say the man's name. Nirenkiki. I literally have it on the screen, bro. It's that Nirengeki's quirk is Twin Impact. Basically, if he hits you with, because he can control things with his mind in a sense. I'm not entirely sure, because I remember seeing it in the anime. They kind of explained it, they kind of did. But basically, it's like this: if he hits you with his left hand, when he hits you with the second impact, it's going to be worse. So if this is a 10, this will be like a 50. The three boys all continue to sit around and just kind of chat about their future and figure out what they want to do as far as being heroes, figuring out who would be the best hero and all of those good things. As the day kind of winds down and the start of the day now becomes more or less the evening time, they realize they spent most of their time just conversating on hero training and just life in general. That's when Toguro asks Lee, "All right, come on, Lee. Let's spar one last time before we go to UA." So Lee, not, being shy to contest, he's like, "All right, I don't see why not. I'm going to figure out Lee's voice. I don't really have it down pat yet." Lee gets up, Toguro gets up, Nirengeki, I'm going to figure that out, guys. I'm telling you. Nirengeki gets up and says, "Well, I guess I'll play referee." And Lee takes a side of the field and Toguro takes a side of the field. Toguro activates his blades. Well, yeah, his blades. He puts a few on his arms and a few on his chest. And Lee takes out a small handful of his needles and projects a few ash wolves. The boys clash. Toguro makes a hard dash towards Lee as soon as Nirengeki tells them to begin. Now, of course, Lee does not have a lot of stamina. His defense is not exactly great, as you saw earlier when the bird-like gentleman was able to defeat him, and not defeat him, but knock him down with just a backhand. So he immediately begins to back up and tries to throw some needles towards Toguro. Toguro, on the other hand, though, uses his blades to swipe them out of the air. As he begins to close in on Lee, Lee uses a few of his wolves to dissipate in front of Toguro, causing a bit of a veil. Lee tries to then engage through the mist with Toguro slightly vision obscured and manages to poke him with one of the needles. Needle, unfortunately, does not pierce the skin. Toguro is using his quirk to have a blade, instead of pointing upward, it's flat under his skin. This ends up making it where the blade does not pierce his skin, so it ends up breaking. Toguro then grabs Lee, and then he sweeps him and gets ready to slam him into the ground. Then Lee again takes a big inhale from his vape, and then he blows all of the smoke directly into Togoro's face and into his eyes and into his ears. And he doesn't typically like to use his smoke, or his ash I should say, to enter from the mouth and the eyes and the ears and the nose, because he doesn't like to be that close. That's why he keeps the needle, so that way he can wound from a distance. As he does this, the effect, almost immediately an effect of dreariness and hard to breathe begin for Toguro. Nirengeki on the sideline looks and says, "Looks like this one's already about to be over." And Lee feels the same way. So as he's getting ready to be slammed to the ground and he's blowing the ash into Togoro's face, he then catches himself, and then he gets up, and then he goes to try. He's not very good at martial arts or anything really close hand-to-hand combat, with especially not anybody healthy. But now that he feels that he's weakened him a bit, he tries to go and strong-arm Toguro down. But this time, because apparently they've sparred several times in the past, and Lee's always found a way to be one-up over him, Toguro manages to, as Lee grabs him, protrude blades out of his hands. Not exactly piercing Lee, very devastatingly, but just a small row of blades appear on the forearm of his wrist where he's grabbed, tearing into Lee's hands. Nothing, like I said, major, just mainly a bunch of sharper than usual paper cuts on his hands. This messes up Lee's breathing, and where his 2 minutes of fighting would normally last have now been diminished to a good 30 seconds left, because it's messed up his breathing. Toguro then manages to fall down to a knee, but is still breathing. "I hope you don't think this is all I've got. I finally figured out how to beat you." Toguro then rushes towards Lee. Lee again, this time much closer than he would ever like to be, tries to take a step back. But this time, Toguro, on his final step towards Lee, uses his blades to almost make a dual blade to propel himself off of the ground, flying towards Lee, and he tackles Lee to the ground. He pins both of Lee's hands, and before Lee can take another hit of his vape or release any more ash towards Toguro. Toguro headbutts Lee right on top, headbutts Lee while he's pinning him down. As he does this, Lee unfortunately falls unconscious, and as Toguro is getting ready to get up to celebrate, he too falls unconscious. Nerengeki, who is on the sideline, I guess we could call it a draw. He goes and he drags both of his friends over back towards the bleachers, and he waits for them both to wake up. About a good 30 minutes to an hour goes by. Lee finally awakens. Toguro woke up about 15 minutes after the assault. Well, the spar. Lee, another thing that I didn't say, with his ash, he can control it even once it's in the body. Not well, but he can remove it. So he takes out the extra ash that he put into Togoro's body to, not have any long-lasting effects on his friend. So Toguro and Lee, they both shake hands, as well with I just said his name, Nerengeki, and the three make a promise to go to UA and do their absolute best to become Class 1A heroes. We're going to then transport ourselves over to Lee walking home. And as he's walking home, he ends up running into this guy, which we all know him as, what's the hero's name? We all know him as Fat Gum, which, he's Fat Gum. I don't know what else to say. I personally really like Fat Gum. I don't think people really talk about him enough, but he ends up running into Fat Gum. And Fat Gum tells him, I didn't watch any dub. I don't know how he sounds. I'm just going to take a guess. Hey, kid. I watched your fight over there with the Shark Child. I think you might have a lot of potential, but you're gonna have to do something about that stamina, because if you don't want to end up out of shape like me. As he then hits his stomach and then laughs very heartily. Lee takes the advice, tells Fat Gum he loves him, you're a great hero, and he wants to strive to be even half as great as him. But behind Fat Gum, Lee sees All Might jumping across the sky with what looks like Deku attached to his hip. Lee disregards this and tells Fat Gum again, thank you again for the compliments, and I hope to see you at the top of the heroes along with myself. So then we're gonna cut over to, let's do a little bit of a small time skip. It's been a month or two since school has ended, and now all the students are getting their invitations to come to the UA to do their UA exam, the qualifying exam. Of course, Lee will get his, as well with all the other people who typically got theirs, as well as a mixed more bag of some of the 1B students that we didn't actually see until later on in the series. So it will be the same exam. I believe the exam, I'm still going to make it where it's the kill the robots, beat the robots, you get whoop-de-whoop and all that good jazz, points and all that good stuff. But I think what I'll do is make it more, all of 1A will be there and all of 1B will be there. We're gonna do it like that. So I believe for this part, we will call it for this episode. So next time we come back, we're gonna have Lee Jones getting ready to take part in the UA qualifying exam. Let me know how you guys are liking this, man. I'm really, I know I kind of messed up a couple times. It might be a little funny cut in there because I know I couldn't remember my boy's name. Toguro Nerengeki. I'ma get it. But I hope you guys are really enjoying this because I'm loving doing this. I love storytelling, bro. I really do. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'm gonna get you part 3 really fast because the middle, the even numbers aren't gonna be that hard. Because the even numbers are me just telling you the story and continuing the story long, where the odd numbers I will wait a little bit longer, maybe between 5 to maybe even 8 days, so that way you guys can comment, or I can get feedback from other people who I send the videos to, so that way we can come to a conclusion and come to a nice narrative decision made among ourselves. Because Lee Jones is my character, but he's our character at the same time. So for instance, if the first part had ended and I had seen a bunch of people say beat Deku to death, which I wouldn't have beaten to death, you know what I'm saying? then Lee would have taken a turn for a different character. We can still mold him into different things. Like, I might do something very heroic this episode, but then next episode, you guys might have an idea of like, hey, he should do this. So, like I said, guys, this is really a collaborative thing between me and you. Me and you. So, like I said, guys, really hope you guys are enjoying this. I love doing this. I'm gonna stick with My Hero for a while, at least until I feel like I get to a good stopping point or whatever. And if there's some other anime you guys want me to put myself into or put ourselves into, let me know. But like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. Take it gaming.